In Dublin's fair city, where the girls are so pretty, I first set my eyes on sweet Molly Malone, as she wheeled her wheelbarrow through streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. Alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. She was a fishmonger, and sure 'twas no wonder, for so were her father and mother before, and they both wheeled their barrows through streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. Alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh.
Welcome to the Beau Show, the home of faith, family, and freedom. This week it's that time in March when we celebrate St. Patrick's Day. My opening song is one familiar to many both in Dublin and in Irish pubs across the United States. It's called Molly Malone. It has slightly ambiguous origins, but is set in the same tune and feel as many common Irish folk songs. The song has become so popular that there is a bronze statue of Molly in Dublin. The song is the tale of Molly Malone, who works as a fishwife on the streets of Dublin in the 17th century. It was believed to have first been published in Boston in the 19th century, which should come as no surprise to Bostonians, where the Irish are quite numerous. It has that music hall feel to it, yet keeps in the traditional timbre of Irish tunes. The mention of cockles and mussels is a direct reference to the fish markets, as well as the refrain alive, alive, oh, which would have been a common phrase heard at that time to alert customers as to how fresh the fish were. The sing-along feel to the song has made it an unofficial anthem for Dublin and adopted by fans of rugby and soccer matches. Perhaps the song's most famous version was recorded by the Dubliners. Many Irish folk songs pay homage to quintessential Irish lasses. At times we have to wind our clocks back to see how music used to be and how the songwriters of the day were more romantic in their lyrics. In modern music, let's just say nothing is left to the imagination. Americans have perverted their music so badly that women are no longer revered, but treated as objects. This song provides an introduction to the day that we celebrate this week, St. Patrick's Day, or the day of the festival of St. Patrick. It is a cultural and religious celebration, which is held on March 17th, the day of the death of St. Patrick, the patron saint of Ireland. The day commemorates the arrival of Christianity in Ireland and is celebrated by the Catholic, Anglican, Eastern Orthodox, and Lutheran churches. St. Patrick was a 5th century Christian missionary and bishop in Ireland. Much of what we know about St. Patrick comes from the Declaration, which was allegedly written by Patrick himself. It is believed that he was born in Roman Britain in the 4th century, into a wealthy family. His father was a deacon, and his grandfather was a priest in the Christian church. According to the Declaration, at age 16, he was kidnapped by Irish raiders and taken as a slave to Gaelic Ireland. It says that he spent 6 years there working as a shepherd, and that during this time he found God. The Declaration says that God told Patrick to flee to the coast, where a ship would be waiting to take him home. After making his way home, Patrick went on to become a priest. According to tradition, Patrick returned to Ireland to convert the pagan Irish to Christianity. The Declaration says that he spent many years evangelizing in the northern half of Ireland and converted thousands. So the thing to remember first is that Patrick was a saint who converted the Irish to Christianity. Just like Christmas and the derivative tradition of Christ, and even St. Nicholas, as well as Thanksgiving and the spirit of giving thanks to God, St. Patrick's Day has drifted away from its original context to a more commercialized and secularized tradition. On St. Paddy's Day, Christians also attend church services, and historically, the Lenten restrictions on eating and drinking alcohol were lifted for the day, which has encouraged and propagated the holiday's tradition of alcohol consumption. The St. Patrick's Day custom of drowning the shamrock or wetting the shamrock was historically popular. At the end of the celebrations, especially in Ireland, a shamrock is put into the bottom of a cup, which is then filled with whiskey, beer, or cider. It is then drunk as a toast to St. Patrick, Ireland, or those present. The shamrock would either be swallowed with the drink or taken out and tossed over the shoulder for good luck. The celebration of St. Patrick's Day has become associated with the Irish diaspora, especially here in North America, where it was often more celebrated in America than in Ireland itself until about the 20th century. Celebrations usually involve parades, traditional music sessions, and wearing green, as well as shamrocks. The Irish word for clover is shamer, and its diminutive is shamrog. An American ear will hear this as shamrock. And according to legend, St. Patrick used the three-leafed shamrock to explain the Holy Trinity to Irish pagans: Father, Son, Holy Ghost. Incidentally, shamrocks are registered as a trademark by the Irish government. St. Patrick's Day parades began in North America in the 18th century, but did not spread to Ireland until the 20th century. Irish government ministers travel abroad on official visits to various countries around the globe to celebrate St. Patrick's Day and promote Ireland. The most prominent of these is the visit of the Irish Taoiseach with the U.S. President, which happens on or around St. Patrick's Day. Traditionally, the Taoiseach presents the U.S. President a Waterford crystal bowl filled with shamrocks. This tradition began when in 1952, Irish ambassador to the U.S. John Hearne sent a box of shamrocks to President Harry S. Truman. From then on, it became an annual tradition of the Irish ambassador to the U.S. to present the St. Patrick's Day shamrock to an official in the U.S. President's administration. To further explain the significance of the shamrock, this story first appears in writing in 1726, though it could be older. In pagan Ireland, 3 was a significant number, and the Irish had many triple deities, which may have aided St. Patrick in his evangelization efforts. Roger Homan writes, "We can perhaps see St. Patrick drawing upon the visual concept of the treeskeil when he uses the shamrock to explain the Trinity." Patricia Monaghan says there is no evidence the shamrock was sacred to the pagan Irish. Jack Santino speculates that it may have represented the regenerative powers of nature and was recast into a Christian context. Icons of St. Patrick often depict the saint with a cross in one hand and a sprig of shamrocks in the other. The first association of the color green with Ireland is from a legend in the 11th century Liber Gabála Éireann, the Book of the Taking of Ireland. It tells of Goidel Glas, Goidel the Green, the eponymous ancestor of the Gaels and creator of the Goidelic languages. Goidel is bitten by a venomous snake, but saved from death by Moses, placing his staff on the snakebite, leaving him with a green mark. His descendants settle in Ireland, a land free of snakes. One of these, If, climbs the Tower of Hercules and is so captivated by the sight of a beautiful green island in the distance that he must set sail immediately. The color green was further associated with Ireland from the 1640s, when the green harp flag was used by the Irish Catholic Confederation. Later, James Connolly described this flag as representing, quote, the sacred emblem of Ireland's unconquered soul, unquote. Ireland was first called the Emerald Isle in When Erin First Rose from 1795, a poem by a co-founder of the United Irishmen, William Drennan, which stresses the historical importance of green to the Irish. It is important to remember, as I've said, that this all derives from St. Patrick and the Church. It is a holy day of obligation in both the Roman Catholic Church in Ireland and the Church of Ireland. In 1903, St. Patrick's Day became an official public holiday in Ireland. This was thanks to the Bank Holiday Act of 1903, an act of the United Kingdom Parliament. Keep watching at epochtv.com/The Beau Show.